Daniel Sports Central will be going over an NFL game preview and prediction on the 2021 wildcard round matchup between the Seattle Seahawks and the Los Angeles Rams, two teams of which who are division rivals, but both teams have had great seasons as well as both teams are in the playoffs and also above 10-win teams. Should make for a good matchup here to see who goes to the divisional round. We're going to go over a full game preview and prediction on this matchup here today, starting out with their team trends. Last game for Seattle, they beat San Francisco in the last game of the regular season. 26-23 was the final score there. All around great game out of the Seahawks to finish out the regular season. Of course, the Niners haven't been very good this year, but then again, any win at this point in the season is a good one. As for Los Angeles, they had a good win over Arizona. 18-7 was the final score there. And considering, honestly, personally for me, I did not expect the Rams to even be in the playoffs at this point. If you look at the Rams right now, they're 10-6 and they're definitely a great team. But when they had John Wolford starting at quarterback and they had several players out with injuries, I really thought the Cardinals were going to win that game. So good for the Rams to be able to be in the playoffs right now in this situation. But definitely, they need their players back if they're going to be able to beat the Seahawks here, because Seattle's a great team. And even though the Rams did lose to Seattle back in Week 16, the Rams definitely, with their talent, they definitely can beat the Seahawks, I think, in this matchup. But winning streaks for both these teams, Seattle's ranked third right now, or seeded third. They're 12-4 with a 4-game winning streak. As for Los Angeles, they're the sixth seed with a 10-6 record and a 1-game winning streak. This game is going to be on Saturday, January 9th, 4:40 p.m. Eastern Time in Seattle. Spread currently says Seahawks by 4. ESPN FPI is going on the Seahawks side, 59%. And then your Vegas prediction is also going on the Seattle side, 38-34 being the current projected final score. So Seattle is favored here in all three areas. Not much of a surprise there, considering, Seahawks are definitely a team that have been very consistent all season long. And if you look at the Seahawks, this is a team at the beginning of the year that many expected to possibly be a true Super Bowl contender, which down the stretch, the Seahawks have not been as good as they were at the beginning of the season. Many people expected the Seahawks at the beginning of the season to possibly be the best team in the league, especially after they started 5-0. But still, the Seahawks are a great team. I definitely think this is your dark horse team in this entire NFL playoff season here with the Seattle Seahawks. I think the Seahawks are a team that is kind of being slept on right now. I understand they're 12-4, and this is a team that is definitely a really good team. But the thing is that many people are not expecting the Seahawks to be able to beat out, say, the Packers or the Saints to make it to the Super Bowl. But genuinely, I think Seattle's definitely got a good chance to possibly do that. There's a good chance that we do see the Seahawks make a deep run here in this playoff season. This is a team that's got Russell Wilson, very experienced quarterback, great offense in general. And really, Seattle's a team to really watch out for as we head into this postseason. But here's a stat comparison for this game. Seahawks have got Russell Wilson, who's put up 4,200 yards in the season, 40 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. Pretty good season out of him. They got Chris Carson leading out the running back core with right around 1,000 total yards with 9 touchdowns. Carlos Hyde follows him with 500 yards of total offense with 4 touchdowns. Then he got 2 really great receivers this season with DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. Especially DK Metcalf, he's had a huge breakout season. 1,300 yards with 10 touchdowns is what he's had. Then Tyler Lockett has had just over 1,000 yards with 10 touchdowns as well. As for Los Angeles, they got Jared Goff, and Jared Goff really needs to be back in this game if they want a chance to win it. But Jared Goff has had a good season too, 3,900 yards. Pretty good on the yardage side, but his touchdown-interception ratio isn't nearly as good, as he's got a 20-13 there, which is not very good. But Jared Goff is definitely a quarterback that's got a lot of yardage, and he's been playing overall halfway decent this season. But once again, Los Angeles has to have him back in this game if they're going to want to win. As for the running back core, they got Cam Akers, who's put up nearly 750 yards on the season with 3 touchdowns. Then Darrell Henderson, who is not going to be playing in this game, has put up 800 total yards with 6 touchdowns. As for the receiving core, they got Robert Woods, who's put up over 1,000 yards, 8 touchdowns, and then Cooper Kupp, who is the top receiver going into the Week 17 game. However, Cooper Kupp is out with COVID right now, and it looks like he's going to be back for the game. But he was out last week, just something to keep in mind there. But he's put up over 1,000 yards on the season as well with 3 touchdowns. So both teams have got great offenses, that's for sure. Both teams have got somewhat young offenses. You could definitely argue that with the Rams right now, as Cam Akers is definitely still a young running back. And then, of course, Cooper Kupp is still very young. Jared Goff is a young quarterback as well. So really, the Rams right now are a pretty young team all around. Even if you look at the defense on the Rams side, this is a team that has got a lot of potential moving forward. They've got a ton of upside moving forward for sure. Here's some key points for this one. The Seattle Seahawks won this matchup a couple of weeks ago. They won the game 20-9 back in Week 16. Something to note there. But based on the current trend of most NFL teams, usually it's tough to beat a team more than once in a season. Which, if you look at the series between both of these teams this season, of course, in Week 16 we did see the Seahawks win the game. But of course, if you look back to earlier on in the season, the Seahawks actually lost to the Rams on November 15th. So the series is actually tied here 1-1 between both of these teams. So that's what makes this game so much more interesting, as well as considering both teams have already beaten each other this season. But the Rams have got several injuries. Kupp and Goff might be back for this game. I think Cooper Kupp has got a lot of certainty that he will be back. It's just a matter of whether or not Jared Goff will be back. Jared Goff's got an injured thumb, I think. He dislocated his thumb against the Seahawks back in Week 16. So he was not in the game against the Arizona Cardinals, but I mean, the Rams played just fine against the Cardinals when they didn't have a lot of their talent there. So I mean, who knows? The Rams could be just fine, but it would definitely be a huge help for the Rams to have Jared Goff back, especially with Cooper Kupp. But I do expect moderate scoring here. I think both offenses will put up a decent amount of points. I don't expect it to be a shootout, but we will be seeing a decent amount of points here. But that being said, here's my prediction for this one. I'm going to go with the Seahawks, and trust me, this one was a really tough one to predict. I think the Rams definitely have got a good chance to really keep this one close and possibly get a win in the end. But based off of how beat up this Rams team is right now, that's the main factor as to why I'm going with the Seahawks, is because the Rams, they've got a ton of injuries right now, and especially if they don't have Jared Goff for this game, it's going to be really tough to beat the Seahawks with a quarterback named Wolford, and it's gonna be tough for the Rams to do that, because I mean, he's not a very experienced quarterback, especially considering he's gonna be thrown into a playoff situation right off the bat. So I think the Seahawks are gonna be the team that I definitely feel comfortable picking right now, especially with Russell Wilson, who's a really experienced quarterback in the playoffs. He's had a great experience with the playoffs, so I think the Seahawks are all around the favorite here. I'm gonna go with them. 27-24 is gonna be the final score, but the Rams are definitely gonna keep it close, and I really would not be surprised to see the Rams win this one. All around. I think the Rams are definitely a team that could make a playoff run as well, but once again, just with the injuries right now, it just does not look very favorable for the Los Angeles Rams to make a run, but probability will be 60% towards Seattle, so I'm not very comfortable on Seattle winning this game, but I definitely think that they're going to be the favorite right now for me. But let me know your thoughts and comments below on this game, score predictions, all of that. Let me know down below. Appreciate you guys all watching. Stay tuned for more from All Sports Central. If you enjoyed this preview, like it, subscribe as well as it relates to the channel. I'd really appreciate that. But once again, appreciate you guys all sticking around. Stay tuned for more. I'll see you all later.